welcome to Live in the Solution. I'm your astrologer and tarot card reader, Mary Trimble, here with your readings for January the 6th through January the 12th. And what a celestial sky we have this week. Wow, major. But I'll get into that in the astrology report. Right now, we're on the intro, and I want to thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys. And I hope that you enjoy these readings and that you will return. These are general readings and they're for the collective, so take what resonates, leave the rest. If you'd like a personal reading, click on this link, which will take you to my website, and you can see what readings I offer. I live to give readings, guys. Now, this is for your sun, moon, and rising. Don't forget that. There will be skip times for the intro, the astrology report, and the tarot card reading if you are checking out your sun, moon, and rising. All the other links and everything will be in the show more section below, so you can always check below in the description box and click on any of the links in there. You know, if you want to look at the other readings, or it takes me a minute sometimes to get the links up, you know, but once everything's up, then I put the links up. Please help me by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing if you haven't already. And now, without further ado, let's get to the astrology report, shall we? Hello and welcome to the astrology report section of your reading. And first, I just can't go without mentioning and putting my heart out there for Australia and all those fires. And, you know, I can't spend too much time on that because I get very emotional, but I'm praying for them. And I just, if anyone's watching from Australia, my God, my heart goes out to you. I'm so sorry. And maybe this is what I don't want to say this is what we need, to take this. Maybe governments around the world will hear this and take some action and towards climate control and perhaps people will stop denying that there's a climate crisis. Anyway, I have to move on from that. I get very emotional with that. It's very, very sad. All the animals and anyway. The year 2020 will not be easy. If you are one of my Patreons or one of my patrons, you can check out my Patreon page, guys. I am going to do a yearly forecast for those for those patrons by sign, and I'm working on that. And it is challenging. For most of us, will be affected, especially those in cardinal signs. Cancer. excuse me. Cancer, Capricorn, Libra, and Aries. We will be most affected by this huge astrological event coming up. But let me go on to Thursday, January the 10th, the full moon lunar eclipse in Cancer at 20 degrees. At 2:21 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Full moons, as most of you know, is when the moon is opposite the sun, and it's actually the sun is lighting up the moon. It's full on. It's exactly opposite, right? So their energies are melding, right? They're almost married, if you will, because it's kind of a seesaw effect. But not only is the moon opposite the sun at this time, it's also opposite Mercury, Pluto, and Saturn, and the South Node. So I can't help but mention in Capricorn, there's Jupiter, the Sun, Mercury, the South Node, Pluto, and Saturn. And 2 centaurs are also in there. And there's never been that many planets in Capricorn. I think it's been 735 years, according to Pam Gregory. It's 735 years. I haven't checked it in the ephemeris, but I believe her because she does a lot of research. And she does mundane, which is all about, government and the world. I do more personal, so I do appreciate her knowledge on that. Okay, so this is the okay, so the moon in Cancer is going to be all about kind of family, relationships, it's emotional, it's about home. Um, and Capricorn, which is opposite, is all about the government and kind of authority and really about career and work and things like that. So it's about that balance. It's about those opposing energies. And this, look, full moons are about releasing, letting go, right? Ending, culminations. Um, and eclipses are even more about that. So eclipses can kind of bring something to the forefront that's perhaps been, it's like secrets are revealed, things, realizations are coming into play. And this is about, clearing things out. It's about trimming the fat, streamlining. What do you need as opposed to what do you want? It's really about streamlining. It's about not having more than you need. That's what it's about. It's clearing things out. It is organizing. It is getting rid of sometimes people, places, things, whatever isn't serving you anymore or that, doesn't align with you anymore, because we outgrow friendships and relationships sometimes. Sometimes we stay in them well past their expiration date. And we need to kind of look at that. Things may come to a head where we'll see that and we'll see that we need to move on. It's those of us who are more self-aware and want to grow and move forward in this on this journey, we'll see what we need to let go of. So change is inevitable. This is about change. Neptune is it's in a trine to the eclipse. Our intuition and psychic abilities are heightened, and our sensitivity to other people's energies are also heightened. We can feel their moods, we can feel their energies. And, if you're surrounded by toxic people, that's toxic. It's going to affect you personally. So you want to, surround yourself or protect yourself and not get too tuned in. If you find yourself tuning into somebody who's like raging or depressed or, in a terrible mood, don't take it personally. Retreat from their energy. So, a lot of emotions can be brought up. It's a very emotional time. Well, some of us are feeling it now. Also, on Thursday, January the 10th, Uranus stations direct. Now, it has been retrograde since August the 12th, 2019. So that's 5 months. And it will station direct. Now, it's been slowing down. Now, this Uranus is the planet of electrifying sudden changes and happenings. Uranus rules electricity. It's like lightning and thunder. And it's the higher octave of Mercury. It's about fast thinking, sudden happenings. And as it slows down to go direct, its symbolism amplifies. So, electronics could go awry. I've been having that. I mean, I've had a lot of technical issues the last week or so. So I know that this has been happening to me. So that will bring an element of the unknown into the mix on Thursday as well, and actually before and after. They say eclipses last up until 6 months, but so look, this brings me to our huge astrological event that astrologers have been talking about for years. That is Saturn conjunct Pluto in Capricorn. Now, as I mentioned before, we have Jupiter, the Sun, the South Node, Mercury, Pluto, and Saturn all in Capricorn, plus two centaurs, Plutos and Chariklo. But I'm not going to get into them. That's a whole other video. But anyway, there's not been that many planets in Capricorn for 735 years. That's a long time. This is huge. It's massive. There's massive change. People who will be affected by this are those in cardinal signs particularly, and that is Aries, Cancer, Libra, and of course Capricorn, where it's all happening. So they are the ones who are most affected by this. But of course, depending on where your planets are, so many of us are. This is because it's all in Capricorn, it's global too. We're already seeing changes happening. We're already seeing politics and catastrophes happen around the world, because Saturn is about rules and regulations and the old order, right? He's like the father figure. And Pluto is about breaking the old systems down so that new systems can replace. So it's about destruction, it's death and rebirth, right? Well, the destruction part is kind of, it's stressful for us. And we're seeing that in Australia. We're seeing it, Iran, number 2 guy being taken out. I mean, and things are definitely going to progress exponentially. Look, I can't help it. It's kind of a pessimistic view, but when I look at the astrology, it is disturbing, to say the least. The good thing is, though, that yes, there's destruction, yes, but what will come out of this is a new world order. Things will change. I mean, irrevocably change. And I think after the beginning of 2021, it's kind of peaceful for a while. But I'm not going to go into that. This is a very deep and very intense time, and time will tell as to how this will play out. Many of you are already feeling this change and transformation, and things are coming up. Pluto brings stuff up from the dark, out of the darkness into the light to be addressed. Secrets come out. Governments, we've already been seeing that. You see, we feel this before, and we'll be feeling it for the whole of 2020, not to mention other things that are going on later in the year. So what I will say, yes, all these old structures and paradigms will be restructured. They'll be brought down. And, I mean, I'm going into this in a lot more depth on my Patreon page. I'm going to be creating videos for the year for the signs. So I am currently working on those and I've been studying this for a while, and I've been really looking at what's going on for each sign and how they are affected. But I will say this in general, this is all like outward energy, because in Capricorn it's all yang energy, it's male energy, it's going out, it's explosive. And that's the same with Uranus. It's been in retrograde, so it's kind of within and going, when a planet goes retrograde, it kind of goes in, right? So we need to bring the yin energy out, and the way to do the yin, the way to balance this with yin energy is to go within. Going within, we can quieten our mind. We don't have to be frightened. When we are at peace within, then we experience peace without, and we can hear ideas and solutions to what we think is our problems are. We need to be bigger than our problems, is what we need to be. And we can do that by going inside. So meditation is so important, and that'll bring us into the yin within, right? The yin within. We need to connect with a divine feminine. We need to be receptive and not pushing out, because this is all pushing out, right? This is all male yang energy. So we need to get in touch with the yin, and we need to be the calm within the storm. And we'll get through this, darling. We'll get through this together. Let's go to your tarot card reading, shall we? Gemini, welcome to the tarot card section of your reading for January the 6th through the 12th. And thank you for your comments. I made a comment last week that you guys hadn't commented, which is kind of ironic, really. considering you're the sign of communication. So some of you did. So thank you guys. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I do hope that you will comment again this week. And okay. This is for Gemini. What wonderful gifts, guidance, blessings, and helpful information can you give Gemini to get them through this challenging time this week of January the 6th through January the 12th? It can be a time of personal growth, so it's not so bad. 3 cards for Gemini, please. Oh, there's 2. Wow. 1 more. Oh, there's 3. Wow, it came up. Oh no, there was 2 more. Okay, very, very interesting. And here we go. Okay, now let's do your clarifying cards. These are clarifying cards for Gemini. What wonderful gifts, guidance, blessings, and helpful information can you give Gemini through these clarifying cards for January the 6th through the 12th? Okay, please clarify. Okay, please clarify. Okay, and please clarify. Oh, this is so interesting. There you go. Oh, 2 more. Oh, darling. Let's take a look at your card, shall we, Gemini? Okay, the first card out for you is the Page of Cups, clarified by the Hanged Man. Then you have the King of Cups, clarified by the Tower. And then you have the King of Swords, clarified by the Page of Swords. Next to the Page of Swords, clarified by the Queen of Wands, and right next to the Knight of Swords. Talk about juxtaposing energies, and that's exactly what is happening with both with the eclipse and this astrological event coming up on the 12th. So you have, the first card is the Page of Cups, and the Page of Cups, look, she's kind of she reminds me of the calm in the storm, right? Because there's this huge wave and she's just standing there very calm and very serene, and she's smiling and she's holding out a cup. The page is a messenger, right? But it's also saying when you're ready to go on to the next phase of your life. So I have a feeling that there's a storm coming, and for most of us, we have this storm coming in, and you're being asked to look at this situation from a different perspective, because you've got the Hangman there. He's like the saint. He's got halo. He's opening his mind up to see the possibilities. It's not about being stuck in one way of thinking about it. So I feel that you could, it's all, you're ruled by Mercury. Mercury's conjunct the sun. It's going to be opposite the moon. There's going to be, you will be affected by this because your ruler is in Capricorn. So this could come through in terms of, your boss, your work. Definitely emotions will be at the forefront, but probably because of, in your mind, what you're believing and what you're thinking, and you're taking things personally. Sometimes it's hard not to, right? But the Hangman comes in and it's saying, take a look at this from a different perspective. It's asking you not to get mired in the emotions, to master your emotions, to don't get carried away with it. Don't go down the rabbit hole. And this is intuition and psychic ability. Trust your gut feeling as well in this whole situation. Don't let your mind, the monkey brain, take over, where you're feeling like the victim, because whatever is happening because something better is coming along. So you have to look at this as everything is happening for a reason here, is what I'm getting for you, Geminis. So it's, you're a mutable sign. Go with the flow. Don't lie down and get walked over, though, because sometimes we think, we don't. And it's not about fighting back either. It's about, because of your calmness, you can stand your ground, and the wave can go right over you, and it won't touch you. So allow the waves to go over, and don't be in fear of this change. And you've got the King of Cups, and the King of Cups is all about mastering his emotions, because change is coming, right? So something is being removed. It can be a job, it can be a relationship, it can be a place where you live, something is going. And it's a life-changing event, right? The thing about the Tower, it's the old way of, it can be the old paradigm, the old way of living. It can be it can be your career. There's cracks in this. This needs to kind of be rebuilt. Allow this to go, because it's like sometimes things need to be broken down, right? It's like we have to accept the changes, because, down the road, things are going to get better. They're going to be different. If we could, I don't know if you've ever had this experience where you've kind of, the worst thing can happen. And what brings to mind for me was when my father died, and I came back from his funeral to find that I got an eviction notice and had to be out within 72 hours. And they laid me off my job at the same time. I got in, they laid, well, I always say they fired me, but, gave me 3 weeks pay and told me that I had to leave. And I remember, I remember sitting in my friend's car, because it was a total catastrophe. And, it's not like I couldn't see this coming. I didn't see the job going. I didn't see the eviction, but because there were circumstances around that I'm not going to go into. But circumstances had been kind of paving a way had I been taking notice. But, my father was ill, and I'd been backwards and forwards to England. So all of a sudden, life came down on me like a ton of bricks. And what I did was I just put the blinders on, and I just dealt with the first thing that came up, right? So I just had to, go to court, ask for more time. They cut me down. I had to get a lawyer. And then, when I look back, the blessing was, right, that I got that 3 weeks pay that gave, and the time off, because he paid me 3 weeks. And so I didn't have to work those 3 weeks, so I could handle all this stuff, right? And I had the money to move. I had the money to get into a new place. So I got anyway, what I say is, when you look back on something and you say, you know what, that was a really good thing. I'm glad I moved, because then I got a better job with more money. And then, I lost that, and then I got something else. The thing is life is about change. But when I look back at some of the most catastrophic events of my life, they turned out to be pretty cool. So that's why I'm saying all that. I digress, but I want you to understand that sometimes this needs to go, because you need to get further in life. You need to grow. You need to get higher. You need something better. When something's being taken away, you need something better. And the next card out is the King of Swords, and the King of Swords and the Page of Swords, right? And what's interesting is these two are clarifying them. Well, the swords are all about the truth. The swords are all about communication. It's about telling the truth. And I would definitely say, whatever comes down the pike, keep your side of the street clean. Do not take any shortcuts. Don't do anything nefarious. Don't try to get back at someone. It's like, just move on. This is, this is all about playing by the rules and regulations and not wavering, keeping your side of the street clean. It's like telling the truth, hearing the truth, seeing the truth, and telling the truth. coming out of denial if you've been in denial, and you know, because we all go in there, you know, we're the best liars in the world to ourselves, and we believe it because it's in our voices. So it's like looking at a situation, and you know, all these planets in Capricorn will help you do that. You know, you'll be able to see the truth. And there may be a little confusion there with Neptune, but actually Neptune will bring in more intuition and gut feeling kind of thing, and creativity. So look, the night. So the night comes in, and the night's all, here I come to save the day. And he's like, rushes in, you know, and he's quick to judge. He sees anybody, he's the champion for justice. He sees anybody doing anything nefarious, you know, chop them. So he can be a little rash and a little impulsive. So hold back a little bit, right? Hold back and think on your feet. Don't make any rash decisions, and always, always take the high road. And I want to sing that song, you know, you take the high road and I'll take the road. I'll see you in Scotland in the morning, something like that. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I can't help myself. And then you've got the Queen of Pentacles, and she's all about confidence. You can do this. You can do this, Gemini. You might feel like you can't. You might feel overwhelmed at times, but remember, that's the monkey brain. Okay, so if you can meditate, darling, you will be the calm in the storm, and you'll be able to handle everything when you master your emotions. The only way to master your emotions is to go in, and we need this yin energy right now. We need to go in, because when we look out, we're like, ah! You know, we look out, we're like, ah! We need to go in. This going in is where peace, where love, serenity, we tap into that, we can handle anything. And she's saying, don't worry, you know, don't underestimate, you can do it. And look, the little cat in the front, it's like, embrace your shadow side too. All of you accept you the way you are. It's the only way you will feel confident. When you are confident within yourself, everyone is flawed. Everyone has a shadow side. Don't beat yourself up and say, you know, sometimes we want to say we're the worst person. You know, how did I get in this situation? We blame ourselves, and that's not helpful. We can't learn from our mistakes if we're blaming ourselves. We're too busy in our heads, you know. That's insecurity. That's insecurity, beating yourself up and in your head, and, you know, you're stupid, you shouldn't have done this, and what did you do? And, oh, how can you learn from a situation? When you're confident, you say, oh God, I made a mistake, but how can I ensure that I don't make that again? Where did I go wrong? I need to look at it rationally and logically. And this is all about logical and rational thinking, the swords. It's all about the intellect. It's taking the emotions out of it. Don't get mired in emotions. Master your emotions, Gemini. I need to write that down. Gemini, thank you so much for tuning in. Please don't forget to like, share, comment. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Mwah! I love you all, and I'll see you next week. Thank you for staying all the way to the end. I really appreciate that. And I just wanted to let you know that this is a viewer supported channel. So if you could check out my Patreon page and perhaps you know, donate a one-time donation, or, you know, $1 a month, as little as $1 a month. It's $12 a year. It's not a lot, but I can do a lot with that. And of course, you know, no pressure, just like, share, comment, and subscribe if, you know, if that's what you can do. I really appreciate that too. And also, my videos have advertising on it. And, you know, if you could watch the advertisement all the way through, that would be a big help. I get paid for that too. I mean, every little helps. And of course, more than anything, if you can, purchase a reading from me, because that's what I love to do. But anyway, guys, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here all the way to the end. And don't forget to join my Facebook group so we can hang out there. I love you all. Thank you. Mwah. I'll see you next week.